Mm, Good evening, everyone. I hope I have an okay internet connection. Today has been a bit weird. Maybe I'm just gonna check. Yeah, see if I can make it better this way. Yeah, so I'm just holding my thumbs that you can hear me and see me tonight. Because tonight we're diving into some enormously interesting stuff. The elemental energy, masculine blocka. And yeah, as I said before, I haven't read this book before you, so I'm experiencing it together with all of you. And I have no idea where we're heading today. But I'm thinking that we're diving in. Ah, so we can together take a deep breath, land in our bodies, the place where we are. Hey, Claudia, beautiful to have you here. It's always such a gift when we manage to match up. Life feels so big and rich when I know we're connected with you on the other side of the world. Thank you so much. So let's take our place in this circle and dive into the big questions of life. Elemental energy, masculine. The sacred directions of above and below are intimately connected with the teachings of the symmetry of life. For not only does the celestial realm correspond with the earthly realm, but the primal elemental energies also share this relationship. The elemental energy associated with above is masculine, and the elemental energy associated with below is the feminine. The spiritual concept of masculinity has very little to do with being male. Certain concepts and beings, such as heaven, fire, hunting, and planting, are energetically rooted in the masculine, and certain concepts and beings, including earth, water, gathering, and harvesting, are energetically rooted in the feminine. Almost no concept or being is fully masculine or feminine all the time. Sometimes we're connected with our feminine energy, and sometimes we're in connection with our masculine energy. Each of us has a natural resting point somewhere on the masculine feminine scale. In many indigenous cultures, the feminine energy is associated with creation and the masculine energy with functionality. For instance, females go through a very visceral rite of passage. A female's moon or menstrual cycle time is a monthly ceremony that spiritually purifies and cleanses her, preparing her for the potential of the creation of life. Males don't have a similar ritual, so they have to purify, cleanse, and prepare themselves spiritually in other ways. That's why males go through certain purification ceremonies like sweat lodge and other rites of passage associated with manhood. The stages of manhood are like seeds that remain dormant until a set of conditions creates a catalyst moment that transitions one level of manhood to the next. But these rites of passage for males have all but disappeared in the modern world, deteriorating to something like getting the newest model of phone, playing the next version of a video game, or turning of age on going drinking. These are not spiritual rites of passage, and they contribute nothing of substance to life. Becoming a man has nothing to do with age or appearance. There are 40-year-old men who are boys, and there are 16-year-old boys who are men. Being a man or manhood has to do with one's inherent sense of ultimate responsibility for oneself, the earth, and the living beings that reside on it. Without rites of passage, many males find difficulty later in life relating to the concept of I am a man. Many grown men have no idea what being a man is supposed to feel like, and their disconnection from manhood is one of the most significant and silent factors contributing to the depression and struggle males experience in their lives. Often, if a man lets his emotional guard down, other men often consider him a sissy. If he takes morals and emotions into consideration instead of just logic, he's considered weak. If a man speaks up about the trauma that patriarchy and misogyny have caused women, then he's considered a traitor to the system of brotherhood that keeps men in power. If a male violates any of these unspoken rules of masculinity, other men often put him quickly in check, and the pattern of behavior continues to march forward. The good news is that there are good men in this world working to change these behaviors. Hmm. What are men missing? For thousands of years, our youth had like feeding chores like feeding the animals, tending the soil, planting and harvesting, hunting and gathering, and other responsibilities that supported the life of the household and contributed to the community. In this modern age, our youth have little to no personal responsibilities that directly support, nurture, or protect their families or neighbors. When a grows into adulthood without any responsibility to nurture, provide for, or protect their family, their community, or their natural surroundings, the disconnection from those responsibilities can manifest as being selfish, petty, apa- apathetic, and judgmental. These adult males tend to be quick to anger and blame. Our modern world desperately needs men to heal from this ancestral trauma, as it's contributing to the worldwide pandemic of misogyny and patriarchy. One key lesson to becoming a man is responsibility, specifically developing the understanding from youth into adulthood that I am ultimately responsible for myself. This does not mean being selfish and self centered, but instead means that we are responsible for our life, as well as those things and people who are connected with our life. The way back to this understanding of ultimate responsibility begins with three behaviors. One, providing. I am responsible for providing for others and myself in a good way. Two, nurturing. I am responsible for helping others and myself develop in a good way. Three, protecting. I am responsible for the safety and well being of others and myself in a good way. When males don't feel responsible for these three principal behaviors, they will suffer from a lack of virility and vitality, and their inner light will become dim. For a male to think indigenous is for him to think in terms of providing, nurturing, and protecting himself, his village, and Mother Earth. The measure of a man. In the old days, when a young woman from the northern plains tribe was ready to marry, she would let her father know. Her husband would be hers to choose, but her father had to give his approval. For this to happen, the suitor would approach the father and let his intentions be known, and if he was an acceptable mate for the daughter, the father would give him a challenge. The challenge the father set for the suitor may seem deceptively ordinary for that time in history and would have been something like bring our family a buffalo or bring 4 horses from the Pawnee people. But hunting a buffalo or steal horses from another nation of fierce warriors were life threatening feats, and the ability to do these things had everything to do with how the man was raised from boyhood into manhood. In order to hunt a buffalo, the man would have had to learn from the other men in his village how to flint knap an arrowhead. While it seems like a basic skill for that time, the man would have had to make thousands of arrowheads in order to learn to expertly craft an arrowhead that could penetrate the woolly fur and thick hide of a buffalo. And then there would have been the many years learning how to make the shaft of the arrow, how to prepare the wood to make the bow, how to craft the sinew from the string for the string, and how to fletch the arrow with a specific type of feather for a specific type of animal. The hundreds of hunting trips taught by the best hunters of the camp, and the tens of thousands of shots made with a bow to be able to make the one shot when it would count the most. It meant experiencing the accidents that happened when hunting, surviving the unpredictable elements, and taking part in war parties, going deep into enemy territory, and counting cope. Not to mention all the stories, lessons, songs, skills, and wisdom that were learned while doing all these things over the many years of growing up. The simple request of a buffalo or some horses was actually a profound test of courage, ability, and valor that allowed a father to decide if another man was worthy of marrying his daughter. If a man were capable of such a task, it meant that that he had accomplished his rites of passages with honor, and that he would be capable of providing for, nurturing, and protecting his family and community. Mm, beautiful. And I think we step into the next part is Indigenous virtues, respect and honor. And I think we start the introduction today and then we go into deeper tomorrow. Hmm. Indigenous virtues, respect and honor. The word higher refers to the spiritual energy of above. It's why we use higher to signify certain concepts, such as higher meaning, higher power, higher self, higher knowledge, and so on. Many of these words are paired with the term higher to mark a distinct difference between the worldly meaning and the spiritual meaning. Higher refers directly to how we think of ourselves and how we think of others with regard to that spiritual place. Respect and honor are associated with the sacred direction of above because they run parallel to the power of our higher self or self respect. Yeah, we go into respect and honor as well. It feels right. Ahola, respect. Respect is the internal feeling we hold for someone or something when we admire them from afar for how they show up in this world. Respect is not given freely, it's earned, and much like integrity, It can take a long time to earn respect and an instant to lose it. Self respect is how we think about ourselves, how we talk to ourselves, how we nurture our body, how we follow our passions, how we ask for help when we need it, how we trust our intuition, and how we set and keep boundaries for ourselves. Self respect is how we take responsibility for our life and know that we value and love ourselves. All of our embarrassing little imperfections don't seem so imperfect when we have a powerful sense of self respect. Having the courage and self respect to simply be who we are is the best way we can show up and contribute to the world. Mm, I think that's where we end today. Mm, that was really nice. Beautiful. And tomorrow I start a Wild Woman retreat here. My intention is to be with you the same time as always, 9:30. But if we are not done with the opening of the Wild Woman retreat tomorrow, then I will be here later, so you know. Thank you so much, all of you, for being here with me. This day has been a day of rebirth for me, and it feels rich and powerful to sit in this circle with you and recognize self respect. I wish you all the best, and I hope the dreams will give you everything you need. Thank you.